Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and people of all ages. Welcome back to Sunday night. It's the iGPFun Super Formula Lights Round 8 from Road Atlanta. I'm JP. I'm going to be joined in the booth by Mr. Alex Goldschmidt here, who's going to come along for the ride once more of iGP. It should be a fun one. We've got an interesting one lined up for you as always, and I'm looking forward to it once again. Our briefing, well, let's pick it up. 37 laps, no active overtaken on lap 1, round turn 7. That is the magenta zone, as per always. Let's have a look at the top 20 in the championship standings. Lee Aberdeen out in front by 297, looking unstoppable. The guy's never finished outside top two all season. And guess what? He's second here today. Antonio Jimenez in second place with a little bit rank on. Then Julio Palacio, Kevin Zwebstra, Andy Flint, Baden Ayan, Jimmy DeSantos, Brad Fulliger and Adam Tamsmer on 195 in 10th. The Mehmet Taski, Denny Cornu, Robert Ridgway, Dorian Aruro and Eddie Amos rounding out the top 15. Richard Van Veen, Nguyen, Alexi Lukish, Scotty Taylor and Brent Ruiz finishing off the final 20 here. Well, it's Road Atlanta, and normally we see that a lot around November because of Petit Le Mans and all the other leagues that put it on at that particular time. But we're doing it at the beginning of August, which makes a nice change for us up here in the booth. As I say, got young Mr. Goldschmidt alongside me. Alex, welcome in, bud. How are you?
Good to be back after the last race that we commentated on. What was it, 3 weeks ago? And it was an utter chaotic one, let's say.
Yeah, I think this one's going to be exactly the same, to be honest. Road Atlanta is always going to be difficult. 32 cars in the session, at the 33, I should say. Gavin Dunn and Eddie Amos have got no time on the board. Jimmy DeSantos does look like he has wrapped up pole position. Tony Jimenez is still out on the racetrack as well. And this is going to be his last go, his last chance, his last dying depth of at the saloon, should we say, before he goes over the line. See how he gets on. How does Tony Jimenez do? 112.497, no improvement for him. Road Atlanta, what do we know?
Elevation changes, keep it away from the wall on the outside of turn 5. Don't miss any gears and don't try and fling it up the inside when there's absolutely no room. So very much a circuit where the laps, these 37 laps are just going to fly by, JP. I mean, when they're doing like a minute 12, a minute 30 to a minute 15 per lap, especially when we go racing very shortly, it's about, can you stay on the black stuff and can you survive this particular track, because it can be one that will be filled with attrition. I can guarantee you that much.
Oh, dude, it's going to literally, if they go too wide in turn 5, it's got the famous curb at the bottom where you either take all of it or leave it all alone. I've got to be honest. Let's bring you up the grid. Jimmy DeSantos, pole position. Lee Aberdeen, 1/10 back. Tony Jimenez and Kevin Zwemstra round at the top 4 with Brad Fulliger, Alexi Yukish, Mehmet Taski, Ludovic Rancon, Andy Flint, Baden Ayan, Rob Ridgway and Krish Patel rounding out the top 12. Moving on from that one, Johnny Cazorla. Marcius Putnieks is back. Welcome back, Marcius. Thank you so much for joining us. Julio Palacio, Leonard Cherry, Simon Fessi, Koji Ito, Justin Fields, Scotty Taylor, Richard Van Veen, Denny Cornu, Adam Townsmer and Clark Williams rounding out the top 24. Then beyond that is Matthew Gracie, Dorian Aruro, John McKenzie, Marek Otlovs, Noel Ritchie Robinson. I do love that name. Ben Goyette, Chaos Arami, Eddie Amos and Gavin Dunn. Eddie and Gavin have not set time, so we'll see if they do get on the grid here once more. Obviously, the famous racetrack site of Petit Le Mans, Alex, you know, come sort of, I think it's November, isn't it, Petit Le Mans? Come November, we are inundated, shall we say, with Road Atlanta races.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that this particular circuit has a lot of history about it. But yeah, I think it's when we get this standing start underway, it's going to be that they've got to be very clean. They cannot overtake until after turn 7 on lap 1, which is when you're going to be coming out the double rights, and then it's the long run down towards turn 10A and turn 10B. And it's about, you know, just surviving this opening lap. If you can get through the opening lap, then the story unfolds. But if you come a cropper on lap 1, well, you're going to be straight on the pit lane, aren't you?
Well, yeah, pretty much, and that's the end of your 37 laps. But DeSantos on pole position, Aberdeen alongside Jimenez, Zwemstra, Fulliger and Yukish rounding out the top of there as well. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, free lights, 4 likes, 5 likes. Round 8 is now officially green, green, green. You can see some sputters and splutters going on in the background there as well. One of the Unity Racing boys made a move at the beginning of the lap. He didn't have a lot of choice, mind you. Dos Santos leads us away as we're going into turn 3. It's blind apex straight through, now through the right hand, and now we're going to drop down the order, down the hill into 4. It's a very quick right, left, right, and then it's up over through turn 5, leaving the curb alone if you're not going to touch it, which he doesn't. Good boy, Jimmy Dos Santos. And now the run down into turn 6 and 7. Everybody got away cleanly. There's a little bit, Rancon's had a little bit of an incident. Chris Rattel's been off the side of the circuit as well, Alex. But to be honest, the majority of field, through they go.
Yeah, as we go down the very long back stretch, and you are at full throttle, probably hitting the best part of over 145, 150 miles an hour as they're going to go down the dip coming out of 9. And now Lee Aberdeen swerves to the outside. Oh, he's definitely got some steelies as our good friend Lee Aberdeen, and into turn 10A. There he is, like a rat up a drain pipe, takes the lead off of Jimmy Dos Santos with him and his Swemstra Fulligar. I see that Andy Flint's got the nickname Maverick on his
Yes.
On his name now, so I think he's channeling his inner Top Gun. Hopefully he doesn't go flying off circuit as a direct correlation.
Well, exactly. Poor old Andy Flint. I named it last week, basically, that he was the Maverick of the series, because you never know quite what you're going to get out of Andy Flint. He'll either be absolutely amazing, or, as like last week, it will just go completely wrong. And basically, at the end of the Maverick, he said, I'm just going to put the pedal to the metal and I'm not lifting until I see God or the checkered flag. So I think that's a line from Ross Chastain, actually, going through Martinsville when he ran the wall round turn 3 and 4. Aberdeen under pressure at the moment. Jimmy tucked in right behind him here. He's going to get a good old piece of draft, is Jimmy. He's about 4 tenths back. He's going to start motoring up to the back of him very, very shortly. The question's going to be, how close is he going to be before he goes past into 10A. He's down the hill now. He's going to pick up speed. It's Dos Santos. 1/8. You can see it going down on the left-hand side. Back out to 2 tenths into 10A and 10B. Lee Aberdeen survives again. Brad Vulliger, Mehmet Taski coming out side by side. Never easy going in through 12.
No, but Brad Fulligar timed that to perfection. Ludovic Ransson from Unity Racing trying to go through around the outside of the final corner on Mehmet Tashi. And Ranson's got Flint right up his rear wing as they go hurling up the hill into T1. We ride on board with Maverick himself, the number 13, and he's right with Ludovic Ransson. Tashi as all, and that is a mistake there from Ransson. Flint's through.
Yeah, Flint ran the outside through turn 4. You never normally see that into 5. Up over the curve, he takes all of it. That's what he's got to do. You cannot take half that corner, because it does end up having to go completely wrong. But Andy Flint through. Alexei Yukish now there. Bayan and Ayan in behind that. A little bit Rancon's mistake put him all the way down into 10th at the moment. But the front 3, Aberdeen, Dos Santos and Jimenez, 2 champions in this front pack. Past champions, Lee Aberdeen is 1. Jimenez is the defending champion as well. And it's, well, I don't know, to be honest, Alex, with the fact that he's had one of them seasons where there's not a lot of consistency. You know, you're getting, we've had 5th, we've had 20th, then we've had 2, 3, 2, 3, 2. So the last 4 or 5 races have been consistent from Jimenez, but he's just not, he lost that 20th at the beginning and that 5th place. And he's got to try and find a way to beat Aberdeen. My only fear is Aberdeen is looking so strong this year. He is motored. I've got a funny feeling it's going to be very, very tough for Jimenez there as well.
Well, I mean, with that 20th place on the first round of the championship, that instantly put the defending champion on the back foot. But you can see the run he's getting through. I mean, Dos Santos and Aberdeen are starting to squabble. They're on the short shoot up to T6. And Jimenez just set the fastest lap of the race, 13.3. And was over 2 tenths quicker than the 2 in front. So Jimenez is trying to play the long game here. I mean, as I said, these laps are going to go very, very quickly by. And it could be the case that if you don't make your move soon, you might be hung out to dry, so to speak. But If Jimenez can keep with Aberdeen and Dos Santos and the two in front start fighting like they're doing now, this will give the defending champion every opportunity maybe to go for the W, but it's still early doors.
Yeah, absolutely. Jimenez has got to try and stay with it. Welcome in, Lewis. Thank you so much for joining us as well. Love the line. His teammate Goose might struggle. Oh, there we go. Talking about Andy Flynn on that one. Brad Fulligan's in his own little battle. It's a nice little battle with Cazorla and Ridgway further back. They're going side by side into turn 1. That might work, but turn 3 will not. One of them's got to back out. Who's it going to be? None of them do. They try and go through. Oh, Ridgway better get hold of Kim Kardashian. He needs a nose job plastic surgeon for Robert Ridgway. Cazorla was not stopping there, Alex, and literally just come straight across the face of him.
He was definitely making sure that he hit his marks and didn't give Ridgway an inch, and thereby Ridgway wasn't able to take a mile off of him. Yep. So that was really good defending by Cazorla. You know, that's the thing. You can park it on the racing line here through turns 1 into 5. And if someone decides to be a bit brave, like we're seeing with Bahadino Yard versus Ludovic Ronsard, this is the battle for P9. Is they're side by side down the hill into turn 10A. Who will be harder on the brakes? And it's not going to be Ronsard. He lets Bahadino Yard through to get through for P9. And I think really the Frenchman didn't really want to fight it. He didn't want to cause any problems between himself and Ayan. They want to start moving forward. So they've got to indirectly start working together. And as I said, we're now on to lap 6 out of 37. That's 5 laps down. And that is, you know, that's the 7th of the race distance gone already. And what? We've been racing for 6.5 minutes. Yeah. That's just showing how quick these lap times will go down here, folks.
Absolutely. Yukish is putting Flynn under all sorts of pressure here. Gavin Dunn has had some drama and is back in pit lane. I think he's done something right at the beginning. He left pit lane, he jumped to pit lane, and then I don't know what he's done after that, but whatever he's done, he's had some drama. So poor old Mr. Dunn has put himself out. Simon Festi's been off the side of the circuit, and Krish Patel as well. On board with Alexei Yukish on this run down from 7 to 10. We can count, there is 8 and 9, but they're not really corners. We do love the Americans' numbering system. Through we go on the left-hand side now. There's Andy Flynn on board with Yukish. Later on the brakes, is he going to get it stopped? He does. Flint's got no choice but to set in and try and get the run out of turn 10B. He has done through 11, dropping down the hill, coming into 12. This is going to be Flint alongside by the time they get into 1, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. He's going to stick his nose out there, Andy Flint. Is he? No. Pulls him back in behind him. I think it's a waiting game for Flint. Now, I'm a little bit worried here as well, because many broadcasts I've seen where have involved the top 3 like this, one of them's generally made a mistake. That left the top 2 fighting it out. The guy in second generally wants to wait to the last lap to make the move. I'm a little bit fearful though, because De Santos, it might not work out so well if that's what he's waiting for, because at the moment Aberdeen's starting to motor away.
Well, Aberdeen's putting at least a 10th of a lap on him. So Leonard Sherry, the Norwegian in the number 55, has just gone for a little bit of a scenic trip through the countryside here. Unfortunately, at Road Atlanta. So that just goes to show, I mean, yeah, Dos Santos can't play the waiting game. I mean, if he can get Jimenez to start working with him, and then you got, you know, a very, very entertaining Flying Dutchman in the form of Kevin Swenstra, not too far behind. If Swenstra picks up the pace, then maybe the 2 Spaniards might be given that proverbial kick up the jacksie that they both need to try and close in on Aberdeen at the front. Yeah, I mean, it was just a case of that slight stumble out of T7, and you take two wheels onto that grass, dirties up the tyres, loses traction, and the rear end will probably be wheel spinning on one side of it. So thereby, Jimmy DeSantos has straight away caused himself dramas when he didn't really need to. He needs, as I said earlier on in the show, JP, that you need to keep the car on the black stuff. You make mistakes here, the barriers are a bit too close for comfort. And again, Dos Santos going into T1, did you notice that the left front tyre actually went onto the grass before he turned right? That's allowing Jimenez to close in. So Jimenez, I think, has a good opportunity. Jimenez, in the meantime, has also dropped Swemstra, who was 2/10 slower on that previous tour, and we're now on lap 9 out of 37, so we're getting closer and closer to 1/3 race distance. And the thing is that Lee Aberdeen, the minute he got pole position, well, he tried to get pole position, he got ahead, and he's left Dos Santos for dust. And now look, Bulligar's closing in on Momentashi. Then we got Yukish, Flint, Ayan and Ranson rounding out the top 10. Now they are covered by 9.5 seconds after the opening nearly 9 laps of racing. And here we go, Yukish, no, that's Tashi and Fulligar. And Fulligar, nearly left front to right rear contact. Fulligar gets through. Yeah, the Kyrgyzstani driver versus the Turkish racer in front of him. This is getting to be a real good battle, but it's going to bring Radvik into this. So Andy Flint is closing in rather rapidly. Yukish is within 1/10 of a second. He's going to pull to the right-hand side. This will give him the outside for turn 10A. Is he going to be brave on the brakes and do the old M&M Slim Shady around the outside? No, not quite. But there is Flint waiting. Yukish dives to the inside, trying to cover off Flint. Flint goes a little bit wider through the final corner, and he's going to be right on the gearbox of Yukish into T1. Tashi's trying to defend into T1. They all go in line astern. A great scrap here for 6th to 8th position. And I think Andy Flint has got his second win. He nearly sticks his nose up the inside at the top of the hill, past Yukish, and Yukish is dancing all over the back rear wing of Tashi as they go into turn 5. They've got to be very, very careful here. Yukish a little bit wider on the exits, but he still keeps within that 10.5 second window into T6. Tashi hits the racing line. Yukish and Flint can't do anything about it, but now it's going to be a drag race all the way from turn 7 to turn 10A, with Tashi leading the way ahead of Yukish and Flint. Ayan and Ranson are closing in though, however.
Yeah, they are. They're about nearly 8 tenths back at the moment, but this is where it's going to affect him. Andy Flint should get the one on the ferry there. He's going to get the double draft. He should be able to pull in a little bit closer. Fulligar and Tashi going again. Down into 10A they go. Tashi on the inside, Fulligar on the out, Yukish, sorry, on the outside. Now Flint's got that gap down to 2 tenths over Yukish here. Flint's making moves at the moment. He's closed in. He got a better run through 10A, and Alex at the moment, he's looking a little bit spicy going into turn 1.
Yeah, I think out of the 3, Yukish looks to be a little bit more unstable than the 2 surrounding him at the moment. I mean, Yukish is just trying to get on with business, but if he keeps on that kind of trail, he's going to lose time, and he's lost time to about 0.6 of a second. Flint has lost a little bit of time in the meantime as well, so that's going to bring Bahadine Ayan coming into the play along with Ludovic Ranson. Then it's a further 3.5 seconds back to Robert Ridgway, who's ahead of Johnny Cazorla in the battle for P11. But you can see here that Tashi is becoming the proverbial cork in the bottle, because Yukish has got Flint closing and bearing down on him. The gap now under 2/10. Is Maverick going to do something special on Yukish? He pulls to the left-hand side. He gets the side draft. He's going to get the inside line for turn 10A. He's deep on the brakes. And Maverick makes it through. And Andy Flint gets up into P7. Great move there. That was exactly textbook, whereas we saw with Yukish, he tried it the other way on Tashi, did it twice, and it didn't work out either way.
Yeah, Rancon now has got Abed and Ayan in front of him. Ayan's chasing down Yukish. Yukish chasing down Flint. And Flint's just hoping he can run away as quickly as physically possible here. Ransom through into turn 3, didn't get that right. That's going to give Yukish Biden a break going down the hill. Further back, Justin Fields is having a little bit of a battle with Marcius Putnieks, who's back in the series. Matthew Gracie, Townsman McKenzie, Richard Van Veen is all the way down the order as well, but I think that's due to the fact he made a mistake early on in the race. Did Van Veen try and find it and bring it up for you? He went off track and unfortunately, well, it cost him because he lost a lot of places after this mistake. Going into turn 1, he's going to run wide, it's going to spin up, it's going to slide round, and unfortunately that's what happened to the MRP's Richard Van Veen, and he dropped all the way down the order. So yeah, big issues there for Van Veen. Flint at the moment is trying to hold on from Yukish into 10A and B. They go on lap 13. Flint, oh, not doing that, you're not. I thought I was going to do me a proper there, but at the moment we seem to be good. Justin Fields, however, with Putnieks is having a fight a little bit further back.
Yeah, that's the battle for 14th and 15th. Dennis Cornu, you have to give him a shout out. The Unity Racing driver from France. He's made up 9 places. Started 22nd. Wasn't really a great qualifying session, but he's the biggest mover of the night, up to P13, and he's got a 2.6 differential between himself and Johnny Cazorla, which seems to be on the sort of like the pendulum swing, so to speak. It can either be 3 seconds or it can be 2.6, depending on how much time that Cornu can take out of the Spaniard in front of him in the number 73. But yeah, Fields and Putnieks, I mean, Putnieks, another one that has been a long mainstay with iGPFun. But the Latvian has also had his fair share of trials and tribulations every season I've seen him compete in it.
Yeah, absolutely. Something's happening here. Yukish has just lost a place to Ayan. Flint's also passed him.
All lock up from pair of them as well. And there goes Ludovic Ranson right through. Well, mistakes are starting to be being made here, JP, as we're on to lap 15. So, yeah, we're getting closer and closer to half-time on the race. There's all Ranson trying to fire it up the inside of turn 1 on Yukish, and the Kyrgyzstani are able to hold off the Frenchman from Unity Racing at the minute, but I think with Ludovic Ranson, looks a bit more settled than Yukish at the moment. Yukish seems to be a little bit here, there and everywhere, so to speak.
Yeah, he does, but unfortunately for Ranson, he's got Ayan tucked in right behind him. And better than Ayan, it's side by side at the moment. No, just manages to hold on to that place, does Ranson. Now Ayan's coming out of turn 7. It's going to be a run down to 10 again here, I think, for Bayer Ayan. He's got to be later on the brakes on Ranson because he is going to get that draft now, Alex. And it's all a matter of how brave is Ayan going to be.
I think if he sticks it to the outside like we saw with Andy Flint earlier on, there he goes. Darts to the left-hand side. Now Ranson's going to be, well, yeah, I mean, Ranson didn't really fight that, did he? Because as soon as you see someone on the outside going into turn 10A, you're better off holding back, not lifting off the throttle too much, but don't brake too hard into the corner. Just let the car carry the speed through and just try and keep with the man in front of you. So as a result of that, Ludovic Ranson is about 3.5 tenths of a second behind Bahadine Ayan going up the hill into turns 2, 3, 4 and now into 5. You know, sometimes that is a little bit of a better strategy call, because then you're not going to be scrubbing off too much speed, but you're going to carry the momentum through turn 10 and turn 10A and B, like you said earlier, the nice numbering system of our good friends stateside. But here we are with Matthew Gracie, another one of the MRP GP cars, closing in on the likes of Taylor and Williams. So Clark Williams and Scott Taylor, who round out the top 20. And ahead of them, we've got Krish Patel, who finds himself behind Japan's Koji Ito, who rounds out the top 17.
Yeah, they were a lot closer, these guys, further down. It's now into the battle with Simon Fessi at the moment. He's closing in on Putnieks and also Fields. Putnieks and Fields side by side. Fessi's got nowhere to go. He might as well go break. I hope he can go around the outside. Is he going to scoop around the outside at the moment? Putnieks has passed Fields. Through underneath goes Simon Fessi. He takes the tighter line. Fields gives him, well, a lot more room than possibly he needed to. But there you go. Fessi has gone through. Putnieks now trying to run away, but it's going to be hard when you've got Simon Fessi coming at you right behind you. Clark Williams is still having a battle. He's got Scotty Taylor in front. John McKenzie is locked another one in his own little battle a bit further back. Matthew Gracie's just come into it. Kia Sarami has just had some form of drama, and unfortunately he's gone off the side of the circuit, I believe. And unfortunately for Sarami, it's not going too well for him at this moment in time. Alex is all the way down, currently in 30th place, and he's got a meatball for his troubles.
Oh, so that means there's something that's not exactly where it should be on that car, so no wonder at all that the mechanical black flag has been thrown his way. We're going to have a look for the Team MTech 107. Turn 10A, turn 10B, and the car's going to go round, and that's going to be hit into the barrier. And that would probably explain the meatball flag as a direct correlation, but seeing this again, you know, he turns it in nice and neat there, but it's going on the power too early, touches the grass, and bang, left rear wheel goes off the wagon. And that's why he got the meatball.
Yeah, and lost it completely there. Fields now in back behind Fessi again. Fields going to be able to challenge him. That's going to be the interesting thing. Through turn 3 they go, into 4 and 5. I've got a funny feeling that is the back marker of Sarami in front of us. It is. How is he going to play this? Once again, when you've got Simon Fessi in behind, you don't want to be going to hold them up, but at the same time, you don't want to jeopardize your own race. The problem is for Sarami, he ain't really racing anybody, so it should be just a straight through for him, and he does. Fields goes through as well. Front battle now starting to slowly come back to work together. DeSantos has got that gap back down below a second again. So Aberdeen's had a couple of bad laps somewhere along the line, but at the moment it's all starting to settle down within the race.
And with that, Kevin Swemstra, new fastest lap of the race so far, 1:12.858 for the man from the Netherlands. So yeah, things are starting to tighten up between the top 4. I mean, the biggest gap being between Dos Santos and Jimenez, which is bordering on 2 seconds in terms of differential. But yeah, I mean, the thing is that Jimenez, you know, is having to fight and claw and scratch for every single point, every single position, whereas people like Simon Fessi are trying to, you know, make a little bit of damage limitation, and that's what we're seeing. This is closing in on Marius Putnieks, the Latvian driver, coming out of T5, and the Frenchman got a great run. He's going to pull to the outside. He won't get through at turn 6, but this could tee him up rather nicely to get through on the Latvian, coming out of 7 and heading all the way down to turn 10A. The Frenchman takes a wider exit, uses the run-off curb, and now the slipstream will start engaging, a bit like shake and bake. And now, more to the point, Fessi, is he going to do what everyone else has done? Yes, he's going to pull to the left-hand side, he's going to pull alongside, past Putnieks, and then go onto the brakes, into turn 10A, job done.
Yeah, well done there for Fessi. Through on Putnieks he goes. He's made up the positions behind as well. He's now up 3 places from where he started, but that again has come at a cost to him, to be honest with you. But Simon Fessi went off as well quite early on, if I remember correctly, and unfortunately dropped down the order for Simon Fessi. This was where he went off on lap 2, I believe it was. Again, another one in turn 1.
Oh, nearly shades of Richard Van Veen, but he uses the Joker lap to get back out onto track. And that was a squeaky bum rejoin right there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there might be something coming on about that. But Clark Williams, Anthony Gracie, they're continuing the fight. John McKenzie and Adam Townsma. McKenzie's closing in onto the back of Townsma here as well. Gap still keeping an eye. 17 laps to remaining here. 17 laps remaining, 16 laps remaining, plus the one they're on, so technically 17. But you're right, though. This has absolutely flown by this race this evening.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing when you've got a very short lap time. You know, you say 37 laps. Yeah, 37 laps at this particular circuit equates to about 45 to 50 minutes. As we now ride on board with John McKenzie, battling away with Adam Townsma. This is battle for 22nd on the road. Now, we would normally see John McKenzie and Adam Townsma, they're a little bit out of position. I mean, Adam, we've known for the last couple of seasons, hasn't had the greatest of fortune. John has shown flashes of brilliance in his own right, but to see them squabbling down at that, you know, in the top part of the bottom third of the grid, you know, I think both of them are probably sort of like saying to themselves, God, who have we annoyed? Who have we decided to pee off for us to be at this point on the circuit, as we this part of the circuit, as Patel and Gracie go wheel to wheel into turn 6. Patel gets through for 20th, so they're playing the to me to you game again, those two. But yeah, I mean, to see Townsma, who we've known can be at the sharp end of the grid, as Brad Fullergar now sets the new fastest lap of the race on a 1:12.777. You know, what needs to change for Adam Townsma to have a lot of better luck? I think qualifying is probably the first thing to look at.
Absolutely, I think you've hit the nail on the head there. I think his qualifying needs to be a lot better. You know, he can be up and around top 10, top 15. And it just seems like at the moment, he's just not quite got it here, Adam Townsma, this season. Sitting in 10th place in the standings, of course. 22nd, 15th, 8th, 18th, 17th, 17th, 12th, 12th. So he's not even been in the top 10 this season for Adam Townsma.
Oh no, that was Justin Fields that just wiped down into the barriers.
Yeah, but look, curb. Over the bumps.
Oh, it's turn 5. Oh, it's the grass and bang.
Yeah. Unfortunately for Fields, it's in the wall. Jumps back to pit lane as well. So unfortunately for him, Jukic has now got himself onto the back of Putnieks, as he's been there. Jukic did this, and that's why we're so far back from where we were.
Turn 1.
No, he's up through 3. Gonna be 3. Bounce off the curb. Yeah.
Oh, those tyres will have a little bit of vibration through them as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So Jukic, that's why he's ended up down there battling Putnieks, who's just gone past. And Alexei Jukic makes his way forward again. The Santos is teetering on that second gap. It's really been quite interesting sitting here watching it, because at one point it went as low as 8 tenths, and then it's just unfortunately gone back out again to 9 tenths. So Aberdeen and Jimmy De Santos are swapping places quite a lot here. You can see Aberdeen's only been quicker on lap 20 over the lap so far. 18, 19, 21 and 22. You can see De Santos has been quicker. He pulled out the biggest gaps on 18 and 19, got the gap back below a second again onto that one. He pulled out nearly 4.5 tenths. Lost a tenth and a bit on the next one. What's he going to be doing on lap 23? Aberdeen quicker by, well, 6/100ths of a second.
Yeah, I think it's just Lee's just been controlling this race. He knew that he had to get out front and just go, right, I'm going to run my own race. Let's see if the Spanish Matadors behind me can keep up. And they've kept to within a distance, but it's only been like the first couple of laps where Dos Santos was really hustling Aberdeen long, as we see Johnny Cazorla and Robert Ridgway again battling over P10. Now, I do need to mention Denny Cornu again, because he is now 12th. He is 3.1 seconds behind this battle, but Cornu's lap times, his best has been a low 1:13.2. Cazorla's just done his fastest lap of the race, 1:13.09. Ridgway just did a 1:13.45. There you see in the far back of shot Dennis Cornu trying to close that gap. And here goes Cazorla side by side with Ridgway. He's pulled a nose length ahead. He's now ahead of him, and he's not even needed to do the late braking going into turn 10A as Tony Jimenez now retakes the fastest lap of the race in 1:12.727 as Dos Santos has a little bit of an off-track excursion, and he's dropped time to Dos Santos. Dos Santos has lost time to Aberdeen, and that has allowed Jimenez to possibly close in onto him. So Dos Santos is about 1.2 seconds behind Aberdeen, but Jimenez is less than a second and a half behind. And get this, Dos Santos, JP, lost 4 tenths to Jimenez on the previous tour. That could send a little bit of a warning sign to the man in P2.
It could be, because Tony Jimenez there was 1:12.73. The Santos 1:13.14, Aberdeen a 1:12.99. So Jimenez quicker out of all three of them over the last lap alone, and Ridgway closing in. I think we've lost Krish Patel there. Kia Sarami has also had problems. Leonard Cherry back in pit lane once again, jumped himself back to pit lane as well. Oh, Leonard, what did you deserve that? Oh, bro, on the curve.
Oh no, oh grass. And
do then, because that's quite a weird moment. Is it this one that he had?
Oh, this is going to be turn one again. Oh, whoa. Code Brown spanked the barrier with the left side walls.
Yeah, absolutely for him. And gone he goes. Ridgway Cazorla, closest battle on the racetrack at the moment with Yukish and Fessy. Oh, I bet that's getting spicy. Both men here having a good old battle. Simon Fessy sitting around at 6K, Yukish sitting around at 5K. So both of these men are not slouches, shall we say, in the super formulas. And at the moment, Yukish and Fessy, this could get spicier than the Vindaloo at Mikari House.
Yeah, and well, to insult to injury, Mr. Fields has ended up with a black flag, so he's back in pit lane. Jimenez again with another new fastest lap of the race, and was nearly 3 tenths quicker than the two in front. So Aberdeen sets to personal best. Jimenez drops off the cliff a little bit on the last lap, but the gap between the top three now runs at about 2.8 seconds. Maybe make that 2.6 as Yukish and Fessy go into battle again at turn 10A. I mean, like, on his fastest lap, Tony Jimenez was quickest from sectors 2 to 4. So, like, literally turned the timesheets purple on his side on that particular lap. But we're getting to those final 10 laps now, Jake. The final 11 laps, including this one here on lap 27. It's about how you manage, have you managed your tyres well enough? And Yukish darting here, there. I did say that, Yukish has been a little bit all over the shop in terms of his driving style. Oh no, Robert Ridgway, what have you done?
Up the wall, I think. He hit the wall at the top.
He's probably knackered the steering as a direct correlation if that right front has hit the wall. Yes, it has. And that's going to be, that's the three wheels on the wagon situation, I'm afraid.
Yeah, and a meatball for Mr. Robert Ridgway there as he drops down the order. And
meatball flag as well, for good measure.
Yeah, meatball for his troubles. And there, Yukish and Fessy are now going to go past him. There goes Ridgway further back. And Yukish in 13th place now, chasing down Fessy. The gap up front is still teetering on the edge. It's been really interesting. It's just about dropping. And I say just about because it is dropping.
Fullergar's dropped. Fullergar's dropped a big time. What's happened to him? He's done the rallycross.
And he's already gone.
Yeah, he'd gone off, and then insult to injury, loses the back end. Oh, scatters the pigeons.
Went off it. Oh, so that was the first part.
Yeah.
And then there was a second part here for Fullergar. So he gets back out on, sparks up the tyres again, still covered in grass and debris and everything else. And then
Yeah,
unfortunately,
Bahadinayan had to avoid him, I think it was there.
Yeah.
Or no, it was Mehmet Tashi. It was Tashi because Tashi was behind him.
yeah, Tashi had to avoid him as well. 1:12.7 for Dos Santos, done his fastest lap of the race so far. This is Fessy and still Yukish having their own battle. We've lost Patel, we've lost Fields, and we lost Leather Cherry, unfortunately, out there. And Eddie Amos did not take to the start, so we're down to 27 drivers left here of this one. And this could get... Ooh, actually, hold on a minute. Just pulled out 2 temps. Dos Santos over that last lap alone.
Oh, Swemstra just drops it. Sorry to interrupt you there, JP, but Kevin Swemstra, who's been running P4 all race long, has just had the curse of Road Atlanta hit him. Where is it going to be?
5.
Oh, it's going to be out of turn 5. Co Brown.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I'm surprised it's taken this long for people to start dropping it on 5, to be blatantly honest with you. I just want to see if we've gained any time here for Dos Santos.
A little.
It's going the wrong way in that final sector. He lost. Yeah, he got time, but it's that final sector. If we keep an eye on the sector times here, Aberdeen's slower in 1.
But by literally 2 1,000ths of a second. Sector 2, which will be just before the first of the double rights, first of the double right at turns 6 and 7. Dos Santos was 8 100ths quicker, 20 points. He's half a tenth quicker in sector 2, and then he starts losing time here. I think it's mainly because if he's not carrying enough speed through 7, that's going to put you at a disadvantage going down in towards turn 10A. They'll go through 9 before they break the timing beam for sector number 3, which they'll do any second now. 25 point. He's just lost nearly a tenth in sector 3 on that one.
I think it's going to be the same for 4. I wouldn't be surprised if he's lost more time out of 4. He does seem to struggle through that final sector. Going over the line now. Yeah, oh, he was a little bit quicker. He's done his fastest sector so far in the race for Dos Santos, but I don't think he's losing time in some bizarre places. But it through turn 6 and 7, which should be everybody just running through, quite easily. You roll into 6, you dab the throttle into 7, you get it hooked up and around you go. But clearly, there for old Dos Santos, it's not working out quite as easy as that. Yukish cannot get near Fessy. Clark Williams and Scotty Taylor side by side into 10A and B here. Williams in the green and white. Taylor's on the inside. Ay, 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 ay. Oh. Well, that was a bit of a ding-dong if I've ever seen it before.
More than a ta-ta-ta, definitely in that case, but I nearly need to be tablets in a dark room to lay down in there for a second. But look, Williams trying to go around the outside at T1, and he nearly made a complete and utter pig's ear of that. He nearly put the left rear wheel on the grass. That would have spun him around a good one. Yeah.
Williams now dropping in through turn 4. Into 5 we go. There's going to be a deciding moment. What's he going to do? He takes a little bit of that curb on the outside. He's going to get the run in now. Here's Williams behind Taylor down into 6 through the right-hander. He's going to be carrying the speed into 7. Get it early brakes, rotated, over you go. Williams is now E29 at the moment. Great job from Clark Williams. This is him going to be closing in now, motoring down. He wants to catch him quite late as well if he can. You can see where Williams has been shown. Scotty Taylor's made his intentions clear. He's given Williams the outside line. Taylor's going to want the inside into 10. Is he going to be able to send it in late? He's got to be brave here, Taylor. Nope. Williams makes it through, but look at the gap up front. Down to 4 tenths all of a sudden. Well, there's the problem. We got back markers.
Yeah, because Aberdeen lost a massive amount of time, about 4.5 tenths in sector 2, and that's brought the gap down. It's 2.5 tenths. It's closing. Dos Santos has been given a little bit of a lifeline with this and 5 more laps to go into turn 10A. They go here on lap 32 out of 37. There's going to be 5 more till the checkered, and now Aberdeen is under the most pressure he's had since the beginning of this race. Dos Santos now has an opportunity. 2/10. And Dos Santos sets his best lap of the race. Brad Fullergar now has the fastest lap of anybody as John McKenzie goes for an off-track excursion. Fullergar now a 1 minute 12.611 on lap 31. But this is where Dos Santos now needs to put his big boy pants on and go chasing after Lee Aberdeen out of turn 5. Now it's the run down to turn 6 and 7. Dos Santos has got to get a clean exit, take it tight to the apex and run it wide through 6 and 7. Now he's got to be on the power early and close that gap. 4 and a bit tenths. Now it's got to start to close. They matched each other in sector 2 pretty much. 3 and a bit tenths. It's closing, but it's not going to be close enough unless he wants to go late on the brakes and dive to the left-hand side. He sticks his nose out to Aberdeen to say to him a sign of intent. But on that particular occasion, he's lost time again. He stumbles a little bit as Dos Santos, trying to apply the power, coming out of turn 10B, and Aberdeen is just smooth as silk through that part of the course. But now Dos Santos gets the real bit between his teeth over the crest through 2, now into 3 and 4. The gap is 2/10. He's got to pick his moment as Dos Santos, but Aberdeen has got to anticipate at every single second what the Spaniard behind him is going to do. They run out of turn 5, 2/10 apart. Dos Santos takes it very, very wide out of the corner. 2 wheels on the grass heading into turn 6 with the throttle still fully open.
Yeah, it does. Gets it through there as well. That is Ben Goyette. Goyette might just save Aberdeen this time around as he starts closing in. You can see the gaps kind of teetering on going the wrong way, but now it's coming back. But Dos Santos is down to 3.5, 3.3, 3.2, 3.1, 3.29, 2.8, 2.6 and further, 2.3. He's going to go try and get 10.8. No, this is the one he struggles. He's got to bury this with Dos Santos, and he doesn't. He loses 2 attempts just on the entry, all on his own. Now he's going to close back out, coming out of turn 11 through turn 12. Literally this 1 and 2 more, and then it's all going to be over for Jimmy Dos Santos. What has he done over this lap? What's the situation? Aberdeen just a little bit slower. Nothing major, but he is slower. Dos Santos blind up into turn 3. Through the right-hander he goes. Drops in that yellow, that red and black car. Lost in place in 3. That is it. Game over. Half a second. 4 attempts gone in 1 corner.
I think Dos Santos, he tried to make the best of that opportunity, but it's now, you know, if you were in the tiebreaker situation, it's advantage Aberdeen at the minute as, oh, hold the phone. Alexei Yukish, the Kyrgyzstani driver, puts in the fastest lap. Where did that one come from? 1 minute 12.377. Oh, that was a very, very quick lap from the number 19, who unfortunately stumbled all the way down to 13th position. But after this, it's going to be 2 more to go, and Lee Aberdeen, I think now, has pretty much got this sewn up.
Yeah, I don't think Dos Santos has got the pace to keep up with him now. I think it's going to be all over. I don't know what Scotty Taylor and Williams have been doing here, but they've been having a right little ding-dong over the last few laps at the same time, and they've been backwards and forwards in position, as have Swedster and Flint. They've changed places here. Ranson has also cleared Mr. Fullergut, so unfortunately for him, but Kevin Swimster, more drama on lap 29. I think that was the one we had a look at. But Clark Williams tucked in now behind here. Got Scotty Taylor again. Is this going to be a carbon copy? It is. Taylor sends him to the outside. He makes his intentions clear, and he knows where he wants Williams to go. And unfortunately for Taylor, he needs to be a little bit closer to try and make it a little bit more difficult for Williams. It did. Do you know what? I feel like deja vu. That looks pretty much the same as the last time we watched them.
Yeah, it seems like the broken 45 RPM record has gotten stuck again.
Yeah, it looks like that carbon copy.
Yeah, but battles are really heating up. I've seen Dennis Cornu 6.5 tenths behind Johnny Cazorla. So Dennis Cornu very close to being in the top 10. And if Cazorla makes a pig zero of it, then Cornu will not need a second invitation. There's Simon Fessi and Alexei Yukish battling over 12th position as we go on to the white flag lap. Lee Aberdeen, nearly 9 tenths ahead of Jimmy Dos Santos. Aberdeen started from the outside of the front row, and he's about 2 miles away from picking up the win here in round 8.
Yeah. Well, this is it for Lee Aberdeen. Through turn 4 and 5 he goes. Meatball flag for Sarami. He's had more drama. Mackenzie's also had a little bit of drama. Oh, there was somebody actually... Well, there was.
That was Mackenzie.
Yeah, Mackenzie was actually spinning that. Try and have a look back at that coming towards the end here. Aberdeen's got, well, basically about 4 more corners at the most to go. De Santos has pushed him, and fair play to Jimmy De Santos. He's given it a good college try, and that's what I like. But it's down to Aberdeen into the final couple of corners now. Through the right-hander, drops down the hill. He's got one more braking zone to hit into 10A and 10B. Other than that, it is full flat for the run down to the line. There's been another bit of drama for Simon Fessy. He's gone off the side of the circuit. He's hit triple at turn 5, but Lee Aberdeen is going to come over the line. Winner, chicken dinner at Road Atlanta. There for Lee Aberdeen, another race without finishing outside of the top 2. And that is 8 rounds in a row for Lee Aberdeen, where he has not been outside of the top 2. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, and 1. Absolutely stunning. Denny Corner is going to try and get the run here on Johnny Cazorla down to the line. Through 11 they go, over the bridge, down the other side they go. And now it is Cazorla who comes over the line. I want to find out what happened to Simon Fessy, because he did spin it out.
Oh, it was through 5.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go back. I'm sorry to do it this way, but we cannot get the replay any quicker. You can see him come through 5, over the curve, bounced it as well. Simon Fessy. Oh, buddy boy. And that was a big one for Simon.
I think someone accidentally, inadvertently hit the turbo boost button on that one.
Absolutely. Adam Townsmet going to come over the line as well. But Lee Aberdeen is your winner. Stunning race from him. Well done to Lee. Richard Van Veen, the last one to come over the line. Jobs are good for him. Well done for Richard Van Veen. Let's bring you up the results here. Lee Aberdeen is your winner, with Jimmy De Santos in 2nd and Tony Jimenez in 3rd. Then Mehmet Tashki in 4th. Andy Flint in 5th. Kevin Zwemstra, Ben and Ayan, Brad Fulliger, Ludovic Rancon and Johnny Cazorla round out the top 10. Then Denny Cornu, Alexei Yukish, Marcius Putnieks, Koji Ito and Clark Williams round out the top 15. Then moving on from that, Scotty Taylor, Matthew Gracie, Adam Townsman, Richard Van Veen, Simon Fessy, 1 lap down after that incident. Ben Goyette, Dorian Aruro, Richie Robinson, Robert Ridgway and Marek Otloves rounded out the top 25. Then John McKenzie, Keir Sarami, Justin Fields, Chris Patel and Leonard Cherry all didn't finish. And behind that was Julio Palacio and Gavin Dunn, with Eddie Amos not taking to the line. We were right, you know, at the beginning, Alex, Road Atlanta was going to fly by, and it did just that.
Yeah, and there was someone who was flying at the front end of the field, and his name was Lee Aberdeen. I mean, the strike rate that he's had this season, that's going to be impossible to topple at this late stage of the season. I don't think anyone's got a hell's chance in catching him now.
No, it's a literally 2-2 split, 4-4 split, 4 firsts, 4 seconds. And he did an absolutely stunning job from Lee Aberdeen. Well, guys, that's going to wrap it up. Eunice Amal on YouTube chat. Boom! Simon, he says, thanks for the broadcast, guys. A pleasure to follow you. Oh, much love, Eunice. But that's going to wrap it up for tonight, guys. I've been JP. I've been alongside Alex Goldschmidt. And as always, take care. Have a great week. And you never know. See you on a track sometime. Good night.